Go, man, lock and load. That's right. I swear to God that I could drop you, bro. Yeah, I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. I don't care what they all say. That's right. I'ma do this thing my way. Let's go. Been grinding hard on it all day. Okay. We work hard, then we all play. Yeah. I'm addicted to the grind, man. That's right. So I refuse to waste time, man. Yeah. One day it all will be fine, man. Let's go. Gotta commit to the climb. You know man. We're back with the Guinness, setting records every minute, every track. In addiction to the fact that we're winning, still we lack something's missing. Need a track that is hitting, making racks, making millions. If you ask, that's the mission. I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah. Sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable. Yeah. Ready to go, man, lock and load. That's right. I swear to God that I could drop you, bro. Yeah. I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. Girl, you got me shook from the way your body looks. Got me riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what your mama took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She need a fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at them legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. I could look at you all day, watch the way them hips sway. Love your body, so I pray, don't you dare take it away. Can't control what I say, lost my mind cause your frame. Hey girl, what's your name? Lit me up just like a flame. Body in motion, I feel the commotion, be on you like lotion. I'm honest and broken, I flow like the ocean. I feel you were chosen to fix me, I'm broken. My heart that you stolen, hey. Stay with me, play with me, lay with me. Hate to see when you leave, chemistry feels like it's destiny. I just want you laying next to me, and I really don't want you to ever leave. On your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the NEXXTCAR podcast, officially in season 3 here of the NEXXTCAR Racing League. And here on the podcast, we are now in episode 1 here. And once again, just like last season, we're joined with Matthew Tucker and Peyton Tullock. What's going on, fellas?
What up, Roddy?
What's up?
Not much, man. Excited to get into season 3. Excited to get everything kicked off. And we are joined by your Daytona Next Gen Cup winner last night, Andrew Bolander. You guys know him as Cat. That's what a lot of people still call him in the chats. What's going on, brother?
Not much. About you?
I'm doing good, man. First win of the season out of the way for you here at Daytona. Able to survive a crazy one.
Oh, yeah. It's always nice to win the first race. I don't win the plate races, at all, so winning here was pretty good.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we were talking to Tuck a little bit there before we started this, and you joined. You know, he's talking about your entire team was lined up, basically 1 through 6 for a lot of that race. What kind of team strategy did you guys have going into this race?
Just right in the back and then make our way up towards front at the end, and it worked out for the most part. We lost a couple people, but kept me and Tuck up there.
Absolutely, man. Well, this got to give you a lot of momentum here to go through the rest of the season. I mean, it's a pretty long season, so a lot of momentum to carry in. You got Homestead next week. How do you feel about it?
We're just wait and find out, because I don't know yet.
Peyton,
Have we had Homestead on the schedule?
we have not. This is the first season for it, so it's kind of the land of the unknown for NEXXTCAR here. But Peyton and Matt, how does your guys' races go?
Well, Brock was pretty good for me until the last lap. Bump gone wrong, and then Cup was pretty good until about 4 laps to go, and just a racing incident went wrong. So, I mean, hey, super speedway racing, but for the team wise, ADR, we had I feel like a great weekend for the team as a whole. I mean, we led a bunch of laps. We all kind of ran near the front and had our moments. So, while personally, it might not have been the best weekend for me, for the team, we had a really good one. So, I'll take it.
Absolutely. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, starting off with the trucks on Sunday night, we kind of had the same plan as the team, like what Kat said for Cup, was that we were just going to ride around, just wait till like the end. So it was about, I think we finally made our move around lap 65 and 90, so 25 to go. Finally started to work our way up there, and the trucks, we didn't really have a lot of, there's a lot of like teammates helping in that compared to what the Cup was. So it was kind of like every man for himself. A couple moves at the end of the Truck Series race took out some guys, and in the end, Robert Hassan made a move. Cat went with him, and that's how Hassan ended up winning the truck race. Then Cup race rolled around last night, and same thing. We were just riding around, and then when we had that first green flag pit stop, somehow, some way, we went from like 15th to 1, 2, 3 with me, Cat, and Austin, and we kind of just controlled the race from there with Cat leading the most laps, and then in the end, it was kind of just like a block party everywhere. No one wanted to give up the lead. I feel like kind of like what you see in the actual Cup race. If track position's key at the super speedways in the next gen, so that's what happened with that. And then came down to it. If the start finish line was about 100 feet before, I would have won, but thanks to Cat, he dragged me back and got it by 6/1000 of a second. So that finishing top 5 both races, I'll take it, and we'll move on to Homestead.
Absolutely. Homestead and Auto Club, the next 2 tracks up. Draft heavy tracks there as well. You heard Andrew. He's not sure how this next week's going to go. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I think I haven't ran a lap at Homestead yet, but I'm really excited. We got some bigger tracks in the schedule this season, and I think it's gonna, bring out a lot of good racing starting at Homestead. So I'm really excited for it. I mean, it's a loose track, and usually that's kind of tracks I prefer. I'd rather be loose than tight any day. So anyways, Homestead should be pretty exciting, and hopefully have a good run there and kind of rebound.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just all about saving tires in both series. I think when we've ran the officials for Homestead, like that thing eats tires like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think whoever is going to be the guy at the end, if we end up getting a long green flag run, it's going to be whoever saved their stuff the best, and then rolling around if late green flag run, it's going to be whoever gets probably, like you said, the best push. So it's going to be whichever lines can go which way and staying out of trouble. So just kind of the normal stuff in NEXXTCAR. But I'm really optimistic though, because we didn't really have that many like bad incidents this like weekend. So everybody really like was very clean, and we had a lot of green flag runs. So I think all the guys in our league are getting better in each week with their craft and with how not causing a lot of incidents. So I think Homestead will be an exciting race, and you're going to see probably green flag pit stops again, hopefully.
That's what you hope for in a league. You hope that the drivers can improve and you can get some of those issues figured out through the first 2 seasons. But guys, let's move on to NASCAR here. What a wild weekend for NASCAR. Matt, you put the NEXXTCAR Racing League on Van All-Stark car? Well, he made it, 5 laps?
So he made it to lap 20. So we got a total of $12.50 a lap out of our sponsorship. So if you guys want to do the math, well, that adds up to what we paid. So by all means, go ahead. But yeah, that just sucks because he was running top 5, and they had that little incident where Amber Vulcan car broke, and he was trying to move up on the inside and got taken out by a guy that was probably could be our grandfather. So it was tough sledding for Greg, but can't thank him enough for allowing us to be on his car no matter what. So would like to do it again later on. I feel like he'd be up for it too. I think they from the interactions I had with them, they're first class people. So I think they're ones to support, and also congrats to him too. They announced this week or on Saturday that he's going to be making his Xfinity debut at Atlanta with Alpha Prime. So they got a deal done with that. So he's going to be at Atlanta in July I don't know what car for Alpha Prime, but he's going to be in one of their cars though. So I think that's pretty cool for him, because he'll be from my hometown, and going to be a drafting track where he also won at Daytona. So he's going to be where his bread and butter at to try to have a good run at Xfinity race.
Yeah, that would be cool, especially for Alpha Prime.
We're not gonna ask Alpha Prime for if we want to put on their car. Unless
I can text Caesar. I can text their owner, Caesar Baccarelli. I'm friends with him too, so I can text him and see if we can't get that sponsorship on there too.
See what we can do. That'd be crazy.
Yep. But man, moving on to the Xfinity Series race. What a very interesting race that was. Blaine Perkins, man, definitely glad that he got released from the hospital yesterday. He went for a wild ride, and Hemrick, just another product of a bad block move made too late. Andrew, did you watch the Xfinity race at all?
I did.
Yeah, it was honestly, it looked like season 1 of the NEXXTCAR Racing League on iRacing there for a little bit. Not gonna lie, it had its good moments, but also had its rough ones, and it was a very good race.
The sun didn't go down though. Go down.
Well, that was season 2 that happened. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, go ahead.
But Andrew, walk us through your take on the Xfinity race.
Wild. It was wild. Bunch of big crashes. Sucks it took out Hill, because I was really banking on him to win. But I'm glad Perkins got out. That was pretty scary. The last time I saw a car flip like that was Stewart in 01. It looked almost like it. Besides, there wasn't a car landing underneath them. So it's always scary seeing a car flip.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned it was great to see him get out, and Stewart, you mentioned it. I mean, 2001, didn't he flip on his teammate, Bobby Labonte? Yeah.
Yeah. But I was happy to see Jeb Burton win. At least Abe Burton can drive a car.
Yeah, because
Oh,
Wood
man.
Brothers definitely made a mistake
Ugh.
there, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Oh.
walk us through Hemrick's block there. You know, obviously it was a block made too late in the closing laps there, took out 90% of the rest of the running field. I mean, only 7 cars were running that weren't involved in a crash at some point in the race. You know, so that was a huge turn in that race as well. I mean, like you mentioned, a lot of big crashes took out some good guys, but that one took out a bunch of good guys.
Yeah, it looked like he was watching Tony Stewart's wreck in 2012.
Yeah.
That looked just like it.
Yeah.
Both way
Absolutely.
too late.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Peyton, walk us through your Xfinity race.
I mean, I thought the Xfinity race was awesome. I mean, we kind of talked about it before the week. Me and talk a little bit about how, it's kind of you have to have a balance of super speedways. Like, to have exciting racing, it brings the risk of having wrecks. And I'm not somebody that loves seeing the big wrecks, but I understand if we don't have exciting racing, we're probably not going to get them. So it's kind of like one of those things you just got to kind of sacrifice. And if you go back and watch that first stage of Xfinity, that was some of the like best super speedway racing we've watched in a while in NASCAR. They were making moves, not wrecking, just giving it their all and hanging it out. So I thought the Xfinity race was really good. Sure, it got a little wild there at the end, but they were able to make runs and make moves. And Jeb Burton, even though he was probably one of the most aggressive blockers in the race, I mean, he got away with it, and that's what made him win. So I thought it was a pretty good race.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, like what Peyton said. I was catching it a little bit because I was at work, so I kind of watched as I went. But yeah, like the stage racing was exciting. Like you had guys that were taking all the runs that they could get, and they weren't just letting off either. They were full going through. So that's what you would like to see with the racing at super speedways. You don't want guys like, I know Dale Jr.'s an advocate for everybody taking a run every time they get it. So why would you back off when you can improve your position? So, but at the end, Jeb was in the right spot. Congrats to him. I mean, it's his first Brew win. The other one was a rain win, shortened, and got this one actually crossing the finish line at the official last lap too. So that was good for him, and congrats to Jordan Anderson too. His first NASCAR ownership win too. He was close both times as the owner driver at Daytona in that 3 truck, and then it was kind of cool to see him. They did that little story clip before the race when he had his accident last year there, and then it's kind of cool that he was in victory lane after too. So congrats to him. I think he's probably one of the most likable guys in the garage. I've never seen anybody say anything bad about Jordan Anderson. Everybody likes him and roots for him. And I tell you what, though, those Jordan Anderson cars were stout. I mean, Parker Retzloff he wrecked multiple times, it looked like, and ended up with the top 10 too. So 2 top 10s for Jordan Anderson Racing. So congrats to them and all the other good guys. Those back top 10 too. You had like Brennan Poole and Josh Williams and Joey Gase get top 10s too. So that's Talladega, though. You get those surprise guys that get up there at the end. So that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. You know, it was cool to see Brendan Poole back in a car. I don't think we've seen him in a while. The last time that I think I saw him was back when he won at Daytona in the Xfinity Series that season. So
He didn't win that race.
Well, he did, and then he got it taken away.
Yeah.
I still think he won it.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
I still think he won it, and then they gave it to Elliott Sadler, right?
Sadler, yeah.
Sadler was involved in a wreck, and they gave it to him. Like that was a wild one.
So, in my opinion, Brendan Poole still won that race.
That's fair.
But let's move on to the Cup Series. The big story heading into this week was Kevin Harvick making his 800th start. Only 10 drivers have ever made that, and only one have ever won in their 800th start, and that was Petty here at Dover. But, Andrew, that's your big driver. 800 starts, man. That is a long career.
Yeah, I've had a couple of my favorite drivers get that mark. Him and Terry both had over 800, so happy for him to have a good career, and get those many starts, and only a few more, and then he hangs it up.
Yep. It's going to be a sad day for sure at Phoenix when he gets out of that car for the final time. It's going to be a sad day. Definitely one of the legends of NASCAR.
Oh, definitely.
Peyton.
Hopefully, hopefully, be more sad when he's winning the championship that day too.
Hey, that would be heck of a way to go out. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Just keep Harrison Burton away.
Matt, 800 starts, man.
Yeah, I mean, the way Harvick came into NASCAR is not really the way. I don't think no, it's not the way anybody expected him to with Dale Earnhardt. What happened with him at Daytona, and then Harvick being the guy that said he would step in, the guy, and Richard Childress being the one that supported him too, and kind of crazy how his career's folded. I mean, he started off hot. I mean, when in Atlanta, like what was it? Was third or fourth
start.
race cat,
Yep.
third start. So, and then kind of fell off through those middle years of RCR where he won the 500 in 07, didn't win another race till was it 2010 at Dega. So, yeah, that gap where he wasn't really all competitive and was kind of just out of the picture. Then kind of got it back at the end of RCR and then leading into SHR where he won the championship 2014, and that's where kind of his career took off. So Tony Stewart's the best thing that I think happened to Kevin Harvick, and he built up his Hall of Fame resume, and the rest is history with him. So, and he's having another Kevin Harvick type of year too in the Cup Series. So he's just being consistent, and he's gonna get a win by the end of the season. He's not gonna go winless. He's running too good to not have a win. So I could see him getting something like Michigan later on in the year, or he could steal one at shorter track too because they have a good package. So, but congrats to Harvick, 800 starts. So it'll be sad to see him go. He's like one of the last guys of our like childhood that we saw growing up. So that's gonna be kind of telling our age and gonna be weird to think about. It's a whole new generation of guys that you don't see the guys back in early 2009, 2010 anymore. I don't think any really of those guys except for like Hamlin and Kyle Busch. So it's just crazy how everything goes.
Absolutely. Peyton, 800 starts. I know you were only probably remember the last 75 with how young you are, but walk us through your 800.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be, I guess, pretty solid to make 800 Cup starts, but but I thought it was actually really cool to see, in my opinion, the last two dudes really from my childhood are Kevin and Kyle, and I thought it was kind of cool that on Kevin's 800 start, Kyle ends up winning the race, so kind of a blast to the past here this weekend, but congrats to Harvick. It's a super hard accomplishment to reach NASCAR, and what's crazy about it is, a lot of guys when they get near the end of their career, they fall off. Like I know Tony had a terrible fall off, and the list goes on. But Harvick, I mean, it still seems like this dude's in his prime. I mean, he's running just as good as he always has. So I'm excited to see what Harvick can do this rest of the season. And like Tuck said, I highly expect Harvick to win a couple races and be there at the end. And he ran well at Phoenix earlier
Good win
this
this
year.
week.
So yeah, he could win this week, and he ran really well at Phoenix until Harrison Burton spun. So if Harvick makes the Final Four, we could see that Cinderella story. And
it'd be kind of cool if he got that like Gordon kind of like year where
Won
that last
Martinsville and made the Final Four.
So yep,
absolutely, man. Let's move on to the Cup Series here. Let's start off with the early issues of the race. We're not going to get to those overtime issues with a certain driver, but man, pit road, what a problem that was for several drivers. Reddick, Briscoe, Reddick obviously got the worst of it with hitting the inside wall there with the front and back of his car, but we thought pit road was going to be an issue, but did you guys think it was going to be this big of an issue for these guys heading into this race?
I did personally. I mean, going into the race, all we heard was track position is key, track position is key, track position is key. Well, if you can't pass on the track, where else can you pass? On pit road. So everybody's trying to get everything they can, get on pit road, as quick as stops as possible, and get out as quick as possible. And no surprise, two guys that are extremely aggressive in Briscoe and Reddick went a little too pushed a little too far and made mistakes there. So didn't really surprise me. I'm honestly just surprised they didn't take anyone else out while they did it.
Briscoe didn't just push it too far. That guy didn't even touch the brakes till he hit the damn commitment line.
Hey, to be fair, if you watch the replay, he did have somebody on his bumper for a long time, and I think that made him hesitate to hit it. Like they were all trying to get in there deep, and Briscoe just waited way too long at that point.
Yeah, he should have hit it about a mile back.
But hey, it gave Tony, some screen time. I mean, that scheme was kind of
I
goofy.
don't think he wanted it though.
Yeah,
he didn't want it that way.
I don't think he wanted it in victory lane. He didn't want it like sitting on the pit road, just like moving 2 inches. So, old goat was in trouble.
The sponsor got to be happy though. They got some good TV time thanks to
that
this
is
scheme.
true. That's
Yeah,
kind of
they
cool
did.
what they did.
Yeah.
So no, but I think the thing that I was kind of like shocked about was Reddick hit the wall like hard, and literally they said screw it and just put the tires on, didn't fix any damage, and sent him right back out there. I thought that was nuts because I thought, oh, they're gonna have time to fix it and get everything taped up because he smacked I think it was his right front, and then the right rear hit it pretty good, and then like, just go ahead, we'll fix it later. And Reddick was running in that mid pack the whole time, so it never really fell out of it till the end when they had those wrecks. So, and then like you said, Briscoe, I mean, he kind of just I think he didn't have enough rear brake in it, and I think he decided he wasn't going to take anybody out, so he just kind of gassed it that way through the pits. So I mean, that's kind of like heads up on his part to think that in the end. So that instead of like just trying to like back it down, just does probably his best option to do. So, but that was really all the action that we had the first couple of stages. But till the end of stage 2 was those guys having those troubles. But I want to talk about with the Reddick incident though, because Reddick, they acted like he didn't know they were gonna pit because he was on the top lane and he saw all his Toyota guys pitting, and he's like, "Oh crap! I got to get down there." So I don't know if that's what messed him up, or what happened, but yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, next time he needs to mess up a little bit more because he could have took all the Toyotas out right then, and we had a great race after that.
Yeah, he could have taken Bub out right there and saved a lot of heartache.
Yeah. I will say that just a friendly reminder shows how tough the next gen cars are, because any other NASCAR car or the old Cup car, if you do that, what Reddick did in that race with any of those cars, they're done. Like Xfinity, truck, whatever, like your side's pancake, you're done for the race. Reddick was able to pit, get tires, go back out there, and was very much still in the race. So that's kind of crazy to think about.
Andrew, what you got on those pit road incidents?
Well, like they said, they're pretty aggressive anyways, and I want to say, like, heads up drivers to at least the Ford camp, because they saw Briscoe, and none of them, they all missed them pretty good, and unfortunately, Reddick missed Bubba, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, pit road's always tricky there. I'm surprised there wasn't even any more that locked them up and wrecked, or at least like, remember the Rick Ware cars at Daytona doing it that one year? I didn't see anybody do it like that either. But it's always going to pit road at plate tracks is really tough. And even like last night in sim racing, I was too careful getting on the pit road because I didn't want to pull a Reddick or Briscoe and spin myself out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because you're going 200 mile an hour, and you got to get it slowed down in just that short amount of time, down to, I think Daytona's 60. So, I mean, you got a very short amount of time. Same with Talladega. And so, yeah, and this brings up that whole reason why NASCAR, going back to Atlanta, they made the access commitment line all the way back on the backstretch because of that same issue. Because at Atlanta, you don't have that 200-300 yards to get slowed down. You got 50 feet because you can't get down on that apron. So, this was a huge example of exactly why NASCAR did that, Did I like that? No, but I understood why they did it. But yeah, I mean, pit road, you mentioned it, especially in the next gen cars, is these guys aren't able to pass like they could in previous years. You mentioned it, Peyton. The only place you could really make up a lot of positions is on pit road. So these guys are pushing it hard in, they were pushing it hard out, and they were trying to get those positions when they could. And, two of the most, two of the most aggressive drivers paid for it a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, it made things interesting, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I think that these guys learned a lot this year, or not this year, but this race, and carry into the. Don't you even start squeaking your toy, and carry it over into the next upcoming super speedway races. And I think that these guys learned a lot, not only for the pit road, but they learned a lot with the third lane. You would see that third line form up on that outside. They would push the leader of that third line to the front, and then everyone else would drift back. That third line would work for maybe 5-6 laps, and then it would fall apart. So this race really provided a lot of learning opportunities for these guys at pit road and on the track.
I think the guy you got to give credit there for that third line was Eric Jones, because he was the one that started it. Like, I think the 3 times that they were trying to do it, like in the middle of the second stage. So, and then he eventually got up there. He had Ryan Preece up there, and then, when Bubba, Stenhouse jumped up there too, and when Bubba jumped up there and finally he cleared everybody and then just left, and that was when it all dissipated again. So they said in the broadcast where if you didn't have like high end guys, or like if you didn't have enough guys in that top lane, it wasn't going to work. You had to have fast cars to be able to get that thing going. So I think that it was kind of nice to see that third lane come in there. It gives me a little bit of hope when we head to Daytona, like at the end of the regular season, that it won't be just 2x2 like the whole race, or single file line the whole top. You're gonna have some moments where it's 3 wide racing, and I mean, towards the end, I think some guys are gonna want to take that risk if they're about 10th or the 5th car back on the outside. They're gonna want to try to have that third lane going. So their speedway package is not great, like what it has been back 2020, 2021. So, but I think they could get it. They're getting a little bit better. You can see the progress that they've made. A glimpse of it, what it was on Sunday. Although it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't terrible either. So.
Absolutely. We talked about the big crashes in the Xfinity series. Well, the Cup series was they had their stake in that as well. Preece and Larson, man, that was a scary crash. Preece, it's like Tony said, it didn't matter if he would have hit the brakes or kept his foot in the gas. I know what Preece was doing. He saw Larson way down on the apron. He thought, let me gun it and go around the outside of him. Well, Larson came right back up the track, and unfortunately, they met at a T-bone head on there, and that destroyed Larson's car. I mean, you saw the pictures, you saw the footage, the roll bars were caved in. Could you imagine if he hit him on the driver's side? We might be talking a whole different story here.
Well, that's
I know.
The thing,
I know
too.
the driver's side is more secure,
Different.
but I mean, either way, that's still a 200-mile incident to a guy that's going 60. Yeah. I mean, you saw Preece's in-car camera. His visor flipped up. He flew forward in the seat. That was a hard impact.
Yeah, I'm glad both of them were able to walk away from it and are okay from what we hear. Like, we don't know for sure, but you never know. Hopefully they don't have any, things linger. But yeah, like that's just one of those things that it's always probably better to check up than just hope and pray that the guy, doesn't come back up, because Preece just never lifted. He was like, okay, he's down there. And I mean, I get why he did it, but like that's why it's super speedways. The safest options always probably slow down a little bit. And if you don't and you guess wrong, you see what happens. And yeah, that was a nasty hit. I'm glad. Like I said, I'm really thankful both are okay.
The only issue I have with your statement there with the slowing up is you got to remember, it's just like you mentioned with Briscoe coming to pit road. He had a guy behind him that probably hesitated. Well, you lift a little bit, you're getting ran over if the guy behind you doesn't.
Yeah,
You know, so like you said, understand exactly why he did it. You know,
yeah.
but
You just gotta hope that everybody's paying attention because if you start checking up, the guy behind you has to be checking up too, or you're just gonna
Mhm.
cause a wreck. So it's risk reward kind of thing. It's kind of a rough situation. I don't think there's really anything Priest could have really done to miss it, like you said. But yeah, scary situation.
Cat.
Yeah, that was really scary. I've never seen a visor go up like that. That was, and his eyes was huge too.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool to see his eyes like that. But all we can say is thank God that it was on his right side of the car, the impact, and good thing he didn't get ricocheted into the other side and get hit again.
Yeah.
Because that would have been bad too. What
Yeah,
about what caused that though?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. That's our next segment.
I will say this though about the wreck, like it from looking on the in-car camera, that's probably the scariest like in-car that I think we've ever like witnessed. I couldn't tell you the only other wreck where the I've ever been like scared to like see something like that was when Edwards flipped Keselowski at Atlanta back
Mhm.
in like 2010 when his car like kind of roof caved and then
Mhm.
Newman's wreck too. So, but yeah, I think like it just kind of shows what the safety does to overcome. Like going back to what we talked about earlier, like 01, like when that happened, like if it weren't for that, then like Larson or Paris, like you don't know what could have happened. So, but it it just goes to show these guys are tough. I mean, they're they're uh, they're built for it. So uh, it kind of goes also to show that proves the theory that NASCAR drivers are athletes. I mean, just show them that video and look how Priest gets rocked and literally keeps driving it too. He doesn't really he took his hands off the wheel when the force blunt's in it, but then he gets right back on it. So shows how he was committed to that too, and glad they both walked out okay. I mean, looking at Larson's car too, that was scary too. So you had a lot of scary incidents this week at Dega with the Xfinity race and then Cup race. So, but that you take that risk though when you go to super speedway races like Talladega.
Absolutely, and I'm glad to hear NASCAR's taking both cars to the R&D centers so they can analyze everything. You mentioned it, NASCAR making progress. Well, this is definitely an area NASCAR's got to make progress is in those roll bars because those are supposed to protect what's inside the car. They're not supposed to break like that. So, it's great to see that NASCAR is actually taking the safety of the drivers into concern, and they're going to hopefully make some progress towards that not happening again. So that's good action on NASCAR. Unfortunately, the bad part is it takes things like this to happen for NASCAR to step in and make these changes. I mean, go back to last season with Kurt Busch. They didn't really care about the back of the car until Kurt Busch backed it into the wall at Pocono, and his career's over. Unfortunately, I mean, same with Earnhardt. As sad as it sounds, Earnhardt's death probably saved many others throughout the years. So it's just a product, like you said, Matt. It's just a product of the racing at the super speedways, and unfortunately, sometimes it takes something like that to make a change. And I just hope NASCAR, breaks it all down and makes the changes to where these don't happen again. But you mentioned it, Kat. Let's talk about what brought that whole accident up and what caused those two to be where they were. Peyton, start us off with your boy.
Okay, so while I got the floor and everything, I'm just going to get everything out of there because I know after I get done talking, these three guys are all going to sit here and talk about how bad of a driver Ross Chastain is and how stupid he is and
No,
all
we would
that.
never do
So,
that.
so I'm just going to lay out my stance and the argument to it. Let's rewind a little bit. It's overtime, restart. Noah's up top, Ross behind him, and
No.
the leader,
No.
the leader
Noah
takes.
wasn't up top.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. He was second.
He got forced up top.
I'm talking about.
No, he's
restart.
on the restart. The
He's not
restart.
playing.
Oh.
So we talk about it. These cars. It's hard to get past people. Track position's key and everything. Like I said, the leader took the bottom, and as the leader, your course get an advantage, and then the bottom lane has an advantage. So for the top to be successful, those boys are going to be aggressive, and they go into turn 1 and 2, and Larson, Ross, and all them beating and banging each other. Gets Noah up, and I mean, yeah, it's Ross Chastain. Like Ross Chastain, there was a lane and a third, lane and a half there between. I know it's aggressive, 100%. It is 1,000% aggressive, but Ross Chastain's gonna be racing in the Cup Series probably 10 to 15 more years, and he's gonna make that move every single time. That's the type of driver he is. He saw a hole, he saw an opportunity to win. He saw the best chance for him to win was take the hole, and he took it. And in doing so, Noah wasn't prepared for it. Comes down and causes the big one. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's easy to point Ross and fuss at him. He has a track record and everything, but I don't know. I think it's just kind of super speedway racing in my opinion, especially with this package. Guys got to go, and once Noah was kind of out, the rookie like that, I mean, it was kind of over for him. So that's my stance on it, and I'll let you guys clown him from here out.
I'll agree with you on one thing you said. There was a lane and a half hole there. If we're on the streets of Great Britain and the streets there are about 4 feet wide, there was absolutely no hole there, man.
When I say a lane, like I'm talking about a car width. That is a lane to me. And there was a car width and then about a third to a fifth of another car width there. Like there was a big enough hole that Ross could put his car in there, and then a third to a half of another car there.
Yeah, but can we talk about how Chastain made sure there was a little hole there?
Because
how was that?
Ross and Larson, all them beating and banging, like I said. So that's what sent Noah up the track. And at that point, Ross has got a choice. He lifts, ruins all their momentum, or he kicks out the rookie and has a great chance to win the race. What do you do?
He kicked the rookie out, all right.
He kicked the rookie out and tried to win the race. Like I said,
I will say this: there's a major difference what Noah Gragson did when he spun Burton and what Chastain did when he spun Gragson. They were trying to help. But I'll say this: that was midway through the race, though, when Chastain, or when not Chastain, when Gragson got Burton. But one thing I will say with you, 10, Chastain is probably the most aggressive guy in NASCAR ever since probably the early 2000s. So he's got that reputation for him as the guy that's going to be taking everything.
Dale would have made the same move. Just saying, Dale would have made the same exact move. So if you're going to sit here and blame Ross, look at all the guys that would have made the exact same move. There's a huge list of guys that get praised that would have done the same thing.
I don't disagree. I think Earnhardt would have done it too, and but just the reputation that Ross has built, like of his just kind of take everything 100% and give zero. It's risk versus reward, and that's kind of what he saw the risk and taking that spot. So it worked out for him at that moment. I can't remember if he got any damage or what. You would know if he got damage or not, but
it rubbed the tire and he was short on fuel, so he came in. It ended his race anyways.
Okay, so yeah, I will stand on the hill that it was kind of overblown, that he could have backed off a little bit and then got that run going, because it took out a bunch of cars too. So I mean, when it comes down to it, like, yeah, like he was there, but you gotta be smart about it too. So, which Chastain did. And you can agree. I've been a Chastain supporter too. Like I've supported the Hale, Melon, and some other stuff he's done too. But this one I couldn't really get behind, because I think he just kind of tried to bully Gragson and tried to take advantage of him. But that goes back to Chastain getting bullied though too early on in his career too, because he was always the one that got screwed out of the way. So
I can agree and respect most everything you said. The only thing I don't is the all give, no take by Ross. I think that statement would have been true midway through last year. He definitely had that mindset the whole race. There was no give, all take from him. But I think, once that incident happened where Justin Mark had to sit him down and talk to him and everything, I think Ross is calmed down a whole lot near the beginning of races and through the middle. But when we get down to the end, like that's when Ross gets back to his old ways, where it's like, all right, here we go, no giving. But he's not the only one that does that, so I don't know if you can really hate him that much for it.
I guess I should have said at the end of the race,
Yeah.
not like so. When it comes down to the end, like he's all give no take.
Yeah.
Andrew, how do you feel on it?
Well, I felt the same way when Keselowski did his little stunt with Gordon at Texas. There was no hole. He just made it. And I mean, Chastain went down and hit freaking Almirola too. So he was definitely forcing the hole in there.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the onboard, I still want to see Noah's, but I don't see Noah coming down on his power. I think when Chastain forced his way in there, it sucked Noah's car into him, and that's what turned him around and caused the whole thing. But see, I still think if they want to get rid of Noah, Chastain, Larson, if they went all the way to the top on that third lane, they would have gotten a lot of help. Because I think not Chastain, Noah would go to the back because of him being a rookie and young experience. And they would leave him. And I think, who was on the bottom? Was it?
It was Blaney and Almirola.
And Harvick was third
Mm-hmm.
on that bottom line. So even if they lose so much ground, I think the Stewart Haas cars would dig Blaney, and that would just suck the Chevys back up to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Go to the outside, make Noah go to no man's land, as they used to call it in NASCAR at the super speedways, because you're not going anywhere. You're going straight to the back. And like you said, he, Larson, Chastain, they were all lined up. Obviously, Chevy's going to go with Chevy. He's not going to go and, so yeah, absolutely. I agree with, Chastain definitely could have done a couple things different there. Like you said, let's go back to the Gordon and Keselowski incident. Same exact incident. Well, people hated Keselowski for it. Well, Chastain's got to get some hate from the same people,
Yeah, I get the point with the outside move. With next gen on these restarts, like we did not see that third lane appear at all. And like I said, it's such an advantage to be on that bottom lane that if you jump out to the outside, like it's such a farther way around, they're gonna lose 2 or 3 car lengths on the inside at least. And who's to say that everyone's gonna kick out Noah? Like I don't know how much Larson truly likes Ross. There's a really good chance Ross moves up and Larson goes, huh, see you, Ross, and just goes with Noah. So I don't know. I get the idea, but I mean, it's just kind of like a plan. Like, who knows if that plan's actually going to work? So Ross did his plan. Did it work? Not really. Does he do another plan? Does it work? Who knows? So, hey, it's part of super speedway racing, though. I mean, that's the kind of things that are going to happen super speedways with this package. And guys are super desperate, and we saw how desperate Bubba was at the last lap throwing those blocks. Like, these guys get super desperate at super speedways with how hard it is to pass. So, no surprise on either one of those.
Absolutely.
And also check out Harvick's race too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Harvick's like Allmendinger, man. Just not a whole lot of luck when it comes to these super speedway races. And Allmendinger, man, I don't know what he meant by this comment. I don't know if you guys saw his post-race interview, but they asked him, what's he, how's he doing? And he said, I'm just sitting here contemplating my life choices right now. I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know if he's referring to deciding to go back full-time cup racing or what exactly he meant by that.
No, I think he was just pissed off because he was up in the top 5 and got wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was that. It wasn't just like, I want to go back to Xfinity, I want to retire. I think he was just like, it was the heat of the moment thing where he's like, I had a good shot at getting a good finish and got taken out again. Because like you said, he's one of the guys that gets taken out a lot at super speedways. He had that one top 10 this year in the 500, but other than that, Xfinity races where he would get taken out, and then he had that one win in Talladega later on the year. So I don't think really a lot of these guys, except for maybe a handful of them, like super speedway racing. So I think that's kind of the response you're going to get if you get a guy that doesn't like it and gets wrecked out. So I think that's what that was from his just frustration.
So, real quick before we move on to our next segment about Bubba. So Bubba's obviously emotional when in races that don't go his way. You know, you just heard him a couple weeks ago say, "Oh, well, Hamlin and Jordan need to fire me. Why am I in this car?" Then you have Allmendinger that comes out and makes that comment, "Oh, I'm just contemplating my life decisions right now." But you don't, and I despise Bubba. Absolutely hate the guy. But you don't see Allmendinger getting the hate comments for that comment that if Bubba had said that, holy hell, you know, like it's just
Well, I think
the
thing with that,
hypocrisy of the
too-
NASCAR fans.
I think with that too, though, Bubba's was nationally broadcasted. And,
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Allmendinger's. So I mean, you're not really going to have a lot of people.
But it's all over Facebook.
That's
That's what I saw was NASCAR on Fox shared it on Facebook.
That's the first thing I've heard of it. I haven't.
Oh, really? Did you see it,
Yeah.
Peyton?
Yeah, no, I saw the clip or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know, like that whole incident, like, you know, I'm not a huge Bubba fan either, but I'm not like on the list of haters. I wouldn't put myself on. I'm just kind of neutral. Bubba, I get why he gets hate, but I also don't think he deserves as much hate as he gets. Like he's not. I don't know. He's just, you know, whatever. But you know, Bubba's hard on himself. Like, but he should be. Like, he races for a team that's, you know, developing quickly, and he's got a teammate that obviously we all know Tyler Reddick is more talented than Bubba, and he's won a race now. But I mean, you know, Bubba's now in that seat where he's kind of always been that number 2 driver, 2311 this whole time. And Bubba, like, he shows, like, people won't admit it, but Bubba shows that he has talent at times. But then there's times that he just, you know, looks like he's lost. Like, he's very inconsistent, and so that's why he's super hard on himself, because there's weeks that he'll go out here and, you know, run top 10 the whole race and look good, you know, and he'll maybe be in contention for wins, and then there's weeks that, you know, he does something stupid or just runs 25th. So Bubba just needs to find that consistency, and that would kind of fix all his problems.
I will say one thing though in Bubba's defense, because I saw he was getting a lot of backlash when he slammed his Hans device down on the grass. Like, that's just emotion.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the race. So like, I didn't have it like any issue with that, because you have guys that in any other sport like break a baseball bat if they strike out, or if like they football they slam down the football or spike it. So I mean, that's just emotion, because he knew he had a chance at winning. So I don't agree with kind of the backlash he's getting with that, because everybody does it, everything. So
absolutely. I agree 100% with that, because I mean, go to Bristol, Stewart throwing his helmet at Kens's car, or shoot, who was that years ago? It was Kurt Busch and Jimmy Spencer when he told him to kiss his ass down the back.
That was an Indy. Yep.
Yeah. You know, it's like, that's no different than that. And yet people cheered when Stewart threw his helmet at Kenseth. People loved that. When Ward Burton threw his Hans device at Junior Bristol, you know, people eat that. They love it. And yeah, like you said, it's no different than what any other driver does. But because it was Bubba, it's an issue. And I'm not defending the guy. Like I said, I despise Bubba, but just the hypocrisy of the NASCAR fans is insane. You get your group of guys that you like and screw everybody else. Kind of like Chastain. I'll be honest. I'm very biased about Chastain. You know,
you're biased to giving Peyton crap about Chastain.
it goes hand in hand.
Okay.
The thing that Bubba's whole thing reminded me of is the Daytona race where Michael McDowell winning. I can't remember if it was Logano or Brad, but you know, they wrecked out from the lead, and he threw, I think it was helmet down, whatever. It's exact same thing. Like, of course, if you are about to win a race and get wrecked, no matter if it's your fault or not, you get out of the car, everybody's gonna be mad, because you know you were that close, and you got defeat. So, you know, it's like you said, it's just Bubba. You know, Bubba could do anything at that situation. He's going to get hate. He could have got out of the car and been like, "We had a great race. You know, so close, so far. We'll get him next week," and people would have still trolled him. So, hey, it's part of it.
Absolutely. But I'll give Bubba one thing, and this will bring us into our next subject here. Is Bubba actually took credit for that crash with Ryan? I will give him that because 90% of the time, Bubba does not. And yeah, he actually took credit for this one, and obviously it was his own doing. You know, it's like Ryan said, you can block once, maybe twice, but that third time it's game on. And he didn't lift, and Bubba ran him up the track, and right around Bubba went.
I'll go on record saying Bubba like extremely choked this race. I get it, you gotta block aggressive, and I know Tony made a comment like you have to make that block. I don't know if I agree with the last block he threw because if he just stays at the bottom, Blaney has no help. There's really nobody behind him. He's going to get a massive push by Kyle, and then Bubba's really good at blocking. That's one of his like best strengths usually. I know it went wrong
Is
this
he?
time.
Because every time he blocks, he takes people out.
Usually, when he's at the front of these things, he does a good job at maintaining lanes, and I don't think they get around Bubba. If he gets a push by Kyle and he gets some momentum, I don't think they get around him. But instead, he wanted to really block Blaney real bad and took them both out of it. So congrats to Kyle, I guess.
The only reason Stewart continues to say he had to make that block is because how he won at Daytona with Kyle Busch blocking and mirror driving. That's the only reason Tony Stewart agrees with that move.
Hey,
Matt, what you got?
We had that in the shootout race last week too.
Yeah, I was about to say, watching my dude as a kid, I remember that race very well, and I basically had a mirror image with me and Kat there at the end, mirror driving like a mug, and it doesn't go well. I should have remembered. It didn't work out for Kyle, and it didn't go well for me.
It's just how these guys race super speedways. Like Bubba and Blaney are literally the best of friends. Like, and you wouldn't have guessed that if you didn't know them at the end of that race. So it was just Bubba trying too hard to keep Blaney back there because he knows Ryan's probably had the best car in the field. So, but it just stuck how it ended. Like everybody wants to see a green flag finished at the start finish line, not a caution to bring them all back around. So that's what two speedways out of 3 this year that have had that circumstance. So it's just unfortunate because everybody. I mean, I understand why they threw the yellow. I mean, they had multiple hits in turn 1, so they had to throw it. So, but yeah, it's just unfortunate we didn't get a good finish, and sucks for Blaney too because now that's another Talladega race where he's been up front and gets second too. So,
and now 56 winless races.
Yep. So, yeah, it just kind of sucks for Blaney though because he's been really consistent again this season and hasn't gotten the win to show it. So it'll come. He's not going to go winless again this year. He'll get one somewhere.
I hope.
Yeah, it's coming. I do want to bring up one thing that I saw on Twitter, and I wanted to bring this up and see what y'all's opinion on this. I saw someone, because I'm a big hater that I don't love these super speedways that end are yellow. It really feels anticlimactic. Kyle Busch has basically walked into this one. And someone brought up a case where they thought that, if you remember back in the day when we had the, was it the overtime line or something like that? They thought of an idea for super speedways where, what if halfway down the backstretch on the last lap, they have a line. If the field doesn't get to that and wrecks beforehand, they re-rack and do overtime again. If they get past it, though, no matter what, any wreck, they let them finish because it's so far into the lap already that safety crew can get there. Everybody's slowed down plenty of time before they get back there. I kind of like that idea. That way we're finishing super speedways.
Now you're talking about on the white flag lap?
Yeah, on the last lap.
Just like they used to do.
It's like they used to have an overtime line that even if you got the white flag, you had to get to the line. So that way, if they get to that line and they wreck, well, safety crew can get out there and it'll be all right, because the field has plenty of time to slow down. But if they don't get to it, we can restack them since they can't slow down time if it's in turn 1. That was the problem with that wreck.
I agree with it.
I could get on board with that because that way you get a green flag finish.
Yep.
Because I just don't like these super speedways because it happens all the time where we have like a controversial, should we throw the yellow or not? Are we going to let them go green or not? And then it just kind of feels anticlimactic if they call it. So, because who knows? If they leave it go green, Kyle Busch, who knows if he wins the race? But, they called it, so.
We should have implemented that to NEXXTCAR last night after all the wrecks that happened on the
right?
laps.
Yeah, no, I 100% can agree with that. Just like they used to do back in the day. They had that, like you said, they had that line. And Yeah, I forget where I was going with that.
I wouldn't like it. I didn't like it on other tracks, but I think super speedways. I think it'd be a good idea personally.
Absolutely. Kat, how do you feel about that?
I could get on board with that. I think that would make it. At least the fans would be happy to see it in under green instead of yellow. So I could be on board with that.
Absolutely. And, you know, big reason that NASCAR really throws it out there quick is because at super speedways you're going a lot faster, and you know some of those hits you can't tell. You know, I mean, going back to Earnhardt, we've seen him crash a lot harder than that and walk away, and other drivers walk away. You know, so you just don't really know super speedways. But you mentioned it, Kyle Busch getting his second win of the season, rebound year for that number 8.
He went a little cold there for a bit. Like he came out swinging, and we were like, "Oh crap, here's Kyle!" And then he just kind of calmed down a little bit, rode around. And it's not like he's running bad, but you know he wasn't competing for wins every week like we thought he was going to do for a second. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is kind of one of those races like, "Oh crap, hey, you know we won. All right, let's get back on a roll again." And Kyle takes off. So I'm still expecting Kyle to win probably at least 4 races this year because that dude is. You can tell that dude's on a mission this year.
Yeah, Kyle's gonna end up getting probably 5+ wins this season. They're running like they've ran good enough. They've shown speed, but like what Peyton said, they kind of went cold. But Kyle Busch is a good enough driver still in his young he's in the late 30s now. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of good to see them, but kind of sucks though because Austin Dillon's not getting anything. He's still outside top 25 in points. So, but I will say this: RCR though, first and last, so you got to give him some credit for that this week.
I saw a crazy stat line. Is this the 9th or 10th race this year?
That was the 10th.
10th? Okay. Because the stat line was Kyle Busch in his first 10 races with RCR has now won the same amount of races as he won his last 61 starts at Joe Gibbs. That is insane that he's already won that much. That just shows how bad Joe Gibbs got there at the end with Kyle. But I thought that was a crazy stat to look at because I would have never expected that.
Yeah, because he got one win in last year, and then he won what? That was
Was it Texas?
2021. He won at Kansas and he won at Pocono. So that was that Pocono race where it was the doubleheader.
Can't remember.
So that was 2020 is when he won in Texas. That late year. So yeah, but RCR though giving him good stuff. So, and I think he's still want to prove everybody wrong that he still got it. So, but how about this though? No one really talked about this though. A red and black number 8 car back in victory lane at Talladega with the man Kyle Busch behind it. So let's just think about that for a second.
I pray that RCR, when they get to Daytona in July or whatever at the end of the season, when they go to Daytona, I just pray they bring out like a black Dale scheme as just to troll everybody. Now that he ran kind of like a weird junior kind of vibe scheme, bring out a Dale scheme. Come on now, troll the whole entire NASCAR fan base. Come on, do it.
Kyle will be on board with that too.
100%. He would eat that up.
I mean, hell, they basically do it with Austin Dillon. He's got like off-brand Dale schemes every damn race almost. So let's give him Kyle. Why not?
Yep. And then, well, we talked about in last podcast. Would Carl Edwards make NASCAR's top 75? Well, guess what? He's on that list. He has made it. That is awesome to see. That they didn't let the whatever you want to call it get in the middle of him making this list. Peyton, start us off. Were you even alive to see Edwards race?
What the? Come on now, man. One of my biggest memories in NASCAR is seeing Tony beat him in a tiebreaker. Like, that was insane. That wasn't like that long ago.
I thought you were born after that, though.
Come on now. Anywho, I mean, very much deserved. People don't really mention it, but Carl Edwards to me is kind of like a dark horse of the pick of best drivers to not win a championship. Everybody quickly points at Mark Martin and Denny Hamlin, but I feel like he's kind of in that top 5 range. Like Carl Edwards had a fantastic career, and sure it ended a little earlier than it probably should have, but very much deserved. And I'm glad to see that he got his recognition on the list.
Yeah,
Oh.
I sorry, I was looking at
No,
Loki.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I mean Edwards. If some of the guys that have been on the list, like that have been announced, I mean Biffle got announced as a top 75, and then yeah, Sterling Marlin, like we talked about before the podcast, got added with only 10 wins. So with a guy of Edwards' resume, it was kind of like the no-brainer that he is one of the top 75 guys, and that's raced in NASCAR. So kind of good. Really, really glad to see him in there. Like he had, I think he was always a fan favorite too. So well, you really have a lot of bad instances where he would cause issues, or except with Keselowski. Those are really the only guy he ever really had. He had problems with, and so, but yeah, I just wish that he would have left NASCAR the way he did, because it just seems so odd and so weird the way he just vanished all of a sudden. So, but I think that's what's also keeping him in the Hall of Fame too. But now since that's another topic of this, is now he's one of the top 75, wins Edwards getting the Hall of Fame. So, but congrats to him, and kind of getting down to the nitty gritty with who's left. So I mean, they did what, 12 spots? They're almost halfway done.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Jimmy Johnson. That's a given. I don't know if there's really any other givens that are on there, but I know Johnson's one. So we're gonna be talking a little bit later on in the season of who's gonna be snubbed out of this top 75. So gonna be interesting to see.
Kat, how do you feel about Edwards?
Well, he's definitely top 75. You can't not say that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I could not stand him. But he's definitely top 75. He's won what, like 30 some races? And 2 Xfinity titles and a bunch of Xfinity wins and a few truck wins. So yeah, he's definitely top 75. I'm waiting to see when they announce like Johnson, Harvick, and Earnhardt, well, Jr. Yeah, I'm waiting to see who gets me up too. They announced Ron Hornaday too, so that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Have-
Truck
have
Series
they
legend.
announced- Have they announced Kyle yet? Is that another
Busch?
one?
No.
No.
So there's a lot of like
There's
talks
Mhm.
that we haven't heard yet. So
And
there's
Kurt
definitely gonna be some
Busch.
subs. Yeah, Kurt.
Brad,
But they let
correct.
but they
Brad,
let TK
Logano.
There's gonna be some butthurt drivers here
Yeah,
that
there's
don't
definitely
make
gonna
this
be-
list,
Yeah,
and that honestly had a deserving spot over some of the others.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, not
Ross
throwing
Chastain.
shade on Sterling. No,
Ross
okay,
Chastain, yeah.
chill out. Not throwing any shade on Sterling Marlin or anything, but I mean, a lot of more deserving guys than him. I know he won a 500, maybe 2. I don't remember
He won
how
2.
many.
He won back to back.
So does this open up the door for someone like Michael Waltrip to
No.
make it? Why?
No.
Mikey's
Because
won
he's
2.
got 4 wins.
He won 2
Who knows?
500s.
Well, I mean, hell, Stenhouse. I mean, who else has won 2 500s? That's really.
he went 2 500s. He's won Daytona twice, but that was the 600. Or
He won the
Coke
400.
Zero.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, now it's just kind of getting kind of vague with it, but
we'll see.
I think the reason why Marlon though got in is because of his impact with the
Mhm.
sport.
Oh, 100%.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't just like his
Mhm.
stats. I think that's why he. But yeah, like look on the same resume. I mean, Clint Boyer is the same driver as Sterling Marlin. So just without the major, I think would Boyer win a 6? No, Boyer didn't really win a major or a crown jewel. So, but yeah, same thing as Clint Boyer. So, but yeah, like we talked about, it's gonna be interesting to see who gets left off this list, because you still got, like you guys named, Junior and Johnson and Keselowski, Kyle Busch. So like you got a lot of guys that are still not on this list yet.
Absolutely. Well, it's that time.
Well,
Dover's
hold
coming
on.
up. Oh,
I got one thing. The new series we added, the short tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And how about freaking Robert Babcock winning that
Oh
race?
my lord.
Hey,
Yeah,
a blind
Jesus
squirrel finds a
Christ.
nut every once in a while.
So is Camaro going to be the next short track king with Peyton not running in it? So is he going to be dominating?
maybe.
Dude, that's
Maybe.
what we need to do. We need to come out with a NEXXTCAR 15 or something.
Oh my gosh.
Camaro,
God,
number one lock.
we don't we could have a not top 15 can name off 15 guys right now, but we're not gonna do
This
that.
is ridiculous.
Camaro would be number one from going to the pole to last in two
Yeah.
corners.
That's what we need to do. We make a 15 moments list or something of in the history. So
That'd be
The
cool, that'd be
NEXXTCAR top 15, like
Yeah.
ESPN's 15.
yeah,
I can
so
see what I
do a
can do
top
there.
10 moments of that. You have all the clips, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Still, so yeah, we could do that. And
Yeah.
we could do a podcast where we just run down all the top moments.
Maybe.
I like that.
Hey,
I
the
like
Yeah.
that.
fans, let us know.
Would it be on all iRacing or Heat or both or
No,
what?
just throughout the whole NEXXTCAR,
whole
league,
NEXXTCAR
the
history.
whole thing, the whole
Yeah.
shebang.
If me and Keystone Canadian Tire on Heat 5 isn't on it, then the list is
He's
Or-
gonna get
or
mad
me
at
going-
you.
Or me
Gordon's
going
fuel
4 wide
mileage at Atlanta.
Yeah. There's some good ones. You just
Yeah.
had to shout out freaking Camaro though, huh, Cat?
Yep.
Just had to put him out here. Hey, if we're doing shout-outs right now, I gotta do my annual shout-out. Cody Ware, hope you're having a great day in jail. Shout out to Cody Ware, man.
Oh god.
All right, well, Ronnie, let's get with our picks.
All right, well, we're about to pull a Nick in the truck series. We're not going to do picks, aka post-race interviews. We're ending the podcast here.
Oh, man.
All right, Cat, it's that time, buddy. Dover, you got to pick your lock-in pick, and then you got to pick a sleeper. Who you got?
My lock is well, he finished 4th last year, and he's already got a win this year, and he's also our points leader. I'm going with Bell, Christopher Bell.
It's a solid
I
pick.
like that.
Yeah.
Just it seems like a track that he may be able to do it. And my sleeper, well, he won last concrete track. I was there.
God dang it.
The other Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty solid picks.
Yeah.
Because
I gotta
Buescher, I
pick-
think,
I gotta. He won the
Buescher
poll.
finished-
I gotta pick. I gotta pick a new sleeper now, jackass.
Buescher got like 8th last year.
yeah.
Mm.
Peyton, who you got?
Wow, I'm actually gonna go kind of early this week.
You know what?
Okay.
No, you're a Chastain fan. You're going last.
God.
No,
Matt,
let
who
him
you-
go,
no, I'm
let him
kidding. Go ahead, Peyton.
He's already suffered enough. This
Yeah, continue
penalties
the
and his-
suffering.
yeah.
Well, I think Chevy's going to be really strong this week from what they did last year, and they just been on a tear this year. You know what? I wasn't going to, but I'm going to pick a dude that first career start happened here at Dover in the Cup Series. It's been a while, but it happened. A lot of people know about it. And a lovely number 15 car. Finished 3rd here last year. Had a lot of drama, because he's always in drama. Was in drama last week. We're gonna go with Ross though.
Shocker.
It is way overdue. It's at the point now where he continues to run up front, continues finishing so high up. It's just kind of like any week now. It kind of feels like Trackhouse is gonna get victory lane, and they got some exciting news with Pitbull's album dropping. And,
His promotion?
yeah. Anyways, so I just think there's a lot of good vibes in the building right now, and it kind of feels like
Dale.
about time to destroy a watermelon. So I'm gonna go Ross this week as the lock.
It's
Hopefully-
easy to run up front when you wreck all your competition.
Yeah, whatever. Sleeper wise, man, I wasn't gonna do it, but last week I talked about how I had no faith in Legacy, and they surprised me. Even though it's super speedway, they actually showed a bit of speed and ran well. So, last year he got a top 10 here, and he won a race later in the year. So I'm gonna say this is a rebound week for Eric Jones. It's about time Eric Jones has some good finishes. He's been very disappointing so far this year. So I'm expecting Eric Jones to finally have a good run here and get, hopefully at least a top 10.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with the guy that is on a. We've talked about him.
Say Blaney and LaJoy and come to me.
We talked about him
Absolutely.
earlier on in the podcast. His team, Storehouse Racing, has had a fantastic short track package up to this point. We've talked about how, it's his farewell season. He's got to get one done at some point. Harvick, I think that that Ford camp could show up this week, and I think that Harvick could be putting that 4 in victory lane. And then my sleeper pick, well, you mentioned it, Matt, just now. LaJoy. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, I kind of agree with Peyton on this sleeper pick with with how Legacy Motorsports has been running. I'm going to go with Eric Jones' teammate, Noah Gragson. I know he hasn't really performed up to standard so far this season. He's sitting 32nd in points, but you got to remember he's a rookie. And down in the Xfinity Series, he ran pretty good at Dover. So I think that if he can get that car set up to his liking, I know obviously it's not to the par that he had in Xfinity with Junior Motorsports, but I think that maybe a little momentum build up there at Talladega last week. And I think Noah Gragson could be one that maybe not win, but I think he can come away with a solid maybe top 10, top 15.
I like it.
I just feel like Michael
Joy.
Mike, yeah, I was like, they got Michael Jordan on my TV. All right, so can I be like Mike Joy and just pick the
whole
rest
team?
of the field? Whole field.
I'll take the whole Toyota camp.
No, but all in all, so I'm gonna go with a guy for my lock that's got his first career win at Dover. He's usually really good at these types of tracks. Hasn't won a points-paying race since 2021. Yeah, he went winless last year. So I'm gonna go Truex as my lock. I think he's home track. He's got to win, like we talk about, like with Harvick, with Blaney, like he's got to win somehow, some way. So I'm gonna go Truex, and then my sleeper. I feel like this guy runs just like a random race, like just every so often. Like he's ran up front, some short tracks, some where he hasn't really done so good. So been inconsistent at times, but like one race, like he'll just like flash and just somehow he ends up top 5, top 10. So I'm gonna go with Eric Almirola as my sleeper pick. So Stuart Haas has been killing it with these short track package, and the last time they ran short track, Almirola was dominant at Martinsville. So I'll go Almirola as my sleeper, and I will go with Truex as my lock.
Once
Okay,
again,
I already want to change my pick because I think we looked stupid for not picking a single Hendrick car. They were so good here last year, and we just all just ignored them. And I think that's a bad call. So let me get Chase Elliott this week instead of Ross. The dude's
Can't
coming
do
back. Hey, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I don't care. Give me Chase because.
oh darn, the stream ended. It's a
I don't
walk-in
care.
with Chastain.
You heard it. I picked Chase. If Ross wins this race,
It's
I'm
like
done.
it's like we're like keeping track of all this stuff. Like we like who knows who
Hey,
picked what.
maybe I'll go back and like title it up, see who did best or whatever. But
All right.
Hendrick's gonna be good this week for sure. Especially if they keep cheating their ways. We'll see. But yeah, give me Chase. They're gonna put a lot of effort into Chase. He's got to get a win. It seems like, and he won here last year, so give me Chase.
I refuse to pick him.
Y'all are welcome, because I probably just saved us from looking stupid. Because Hendrick's probably gonna have 2 or 3 cars in the top 6 or 7.
Chase Elliott's gonna get wrecked out now.
By Chastain.
Yeah,
Chastain.
Ross is gonna wreck
Yeah.
Chase for the win, and I'm just gonna look stupid. I don't know. Or maybe I'll look like a genius. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, fellas,
Christ.
any closing comments here on our first episode here of season 3?
Did you see speaking of Harvick and Dover, did you see what they did to the wall?
No.
No, what they do?
They wrote Harvick's name on turn 4.
Oh, that's
that's
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I just saw that like today.
well, if I'll go, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah, you going to the race, Ronnie?
I don't know. Ryan hasn't texted me back yet, so we'll see.
The heck, Blaney.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
But I guess I thanks to Cat for coming on short, late notice too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
congrats to his 1.5 average finish to start the freaking NEXXTCAR year, getting second and first. So just like freaking Heat, where it's Cat winning every freaking race. So we're back to those days.
I don't think it'll be like that.
We'll see. But it's a blast as always to be on here. You know, it's nice to be back. You know, NEXXTCAR rolling. We had 2 races already. We got one tomorrow for Xfinity. So very nice to get back rolling. And yeah, like Tuck said, congrats to Cat for his Daytona win. And you know, Tuck, you almost got 2 Daytona wins in 3 seasons. You almost got a 2-peat there. So great finish for
Yeah.
those dudes. And just a great week all around. Glad we're back. And make sure you tune into the NFL draft. We didn't even mention the draft. I just realized that we didn't mention the draft.
Who's your guys' pick to go number 1? Because there's been a lot of guys that are been creeping up there. So who's gonna go number 1 to the Panthers?
If the Panthers take Levis, like all these rumors are coming out the last 24 hours, it will be the Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson, all that crap, all over again. Where the first quarterback is garbage and all the rest just look amazing compared to him. So don't do it. Be smart. Take Bryce Young. That's probably the safest pick of this draft.
No,
don't go.
I think
don't
Bryce Young's going to be a bust.
What?
And
He's small.
I
He's too
expect
small.
Stroud to change the complexion of the Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, Cat's a Indianapolis Colts fan, so who do you want the Colts to take? Or do you want them to
I'm
move
not a
up to
Colts fan.
3? You're
I'm
not?
not a Colts fan for one. No.
Since
Dang.
when?
I thought you were.
I thought you were.
Never been a Colts fan. No.
Oh, I thought you were. Well, never mind. Just ignore that.
But who I want them to take, I still would like them to take Levis.
Oh, you're crazy.
I think he's Ryan Leaf Part 2.
Yeah, go tune in. Like if you want to go watch Levis, go watch his highlight tape against Tennessee because that was the main game. I would say I watched him, and I watched like a few more games, clips and everything. But this dude, I think he's got Buzzford all over him. It is full on. Like the odds. If Will Levis, I've never been more confident. He reminds me of exactly like Zach Wilson. To be honest, like there wasn't like any good tape out there. It's just all about potential this. Well, we didn't even see it in college. So how are you going to predict it's going to happen in the pros? Don't make this too complicated. So
here's the other thing: you don't see like all the big name quarterbacks now. Well, besides Burrow and Mahomes, you don't see a lot of good tapes in college anymore.
Yeah,
I mean Wilson, he didn't really have any good tapes in college, and he went
They
on
don't
to win a
play.
Super
They
Bowl.
don't play defense in college, so that's why some of these guys look fantastic coming in the draft.
that's the only thing that worries me about Stroud. Like I know Stroud's getting a kind of bad rep lately and is sliding. I know Tennessee has a lot of rumors around him, and it wouldn't shock me at all if we get him. The only thing that worries me about Stroud is how much of it was the how good Ohio State is and how bad the defense they're playing. Is that why Stroud looked like a god, or is it truly Stroud being good? So
CJ's best game was that champion or the playoff game with Georgia.
Absolutely.
Had Georgia not hit Marvin Harrison Jr. with that cheap shot in the back of the end zone, Ohio State wins that game, hands down. You obviously, yes, it came down onto the kicker, Noah Ruggles, but had they have not gotten away with that cheap shot, that changed the entire outcome of that game. That changed Ohio State's offensive momentum. It changed everything. So had they have not made that cheap shot in the end zone, and had that have been called a penalty, Ohio State's winning the national championship, in my opinion.
You could just make a field goal too.
I think it's gonna be interesting though if somebody trades up with Arizona at 3, if they're really like bought in. Like you got Tampa Bay and you got Washington. Like if they want to jump up to 3, Arizona's gonna be shopping that pick if they get a deal they want. So I think that's gonna be interesting. Also, if you're the Colts, do you swap with Arizona to take a guy that way they don't come up to? So Arizona's looking at a really good spot right now. I think if you got some teams that want their guy. So
Tuck.
what?
And you asked about my team. Well, first you see my Snap avatar like every day,
Oh yeah, you're a Bengals fan, duh. That just
and then
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
He just
I can't
found
feel my team behind me. I had a Bengals shirt right there.
Yeah, yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah, Bengals. That's yeah.
I
One
will
thing.
say
Go ahead.
that I'm gonna every year I try to post a draft, mock draft before the draft, just kind of see how it goes to my Facebook, and I'll probably do that again this year. But I really expect, all the hype of quarterbacks we've heard. There's a chance that they go 4 in a row, top four. I think it's gonna be just like last year. Everybody hyped up Malik and a couple of those other dudes. We thought it was gonna be 3 or 4 in the first round. There ended up being just one. So I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Like I'm pretty confident those 4 quarterbacks. There might be 5 taken the first round, but I think there's a good chance only maybe 2 or 3 go in the top 10. I think there's a good chance one of them falls and slides through. So we'll see how it goes. This has honestly probably been the most confusing, unpredictable NFL draft we've had in years because we don't even know for 1,000% what the first pick is. And Houston, while we thought it was obvious they were going to take a quarterback, I mean, there's elite ones out there. I mean, they got a bum at quarterback right now. They're not even looking at it. What it sounds like based on rumors. So who knows what's going to happen in the draft.
One thing I'm happy is Aaron Rodgers finally traded to the Jets, so we can stop hearing about that 24/7.
About time.
Yeah.
Jets overpaid, by the way. They had all the leverage, like every bit of it. When Green Bay has a player that says, "I'm going to retire or play for another team," Green Bay should have no leverage at that point. Especially with Rodgers' contract, Jets were willing to give that much up for an old Aaron Rodgers who literally might retire in 1 year. He might just screw him and just leave after one season. Who knows? That was insane to me how much they gave up. But hey, I mean, to be fair, he is a future Hall of Famer, so and he makes them a competitor this year. So if they win a Super Bowl, it looks brilliant. So
Lock it in now at 7:53 on April 25th. The New York Jets will win the AFC East in 2023.
All right. Well,
I could-
folks, that was a great podcast we had tonight.
Yeah, Peyton's got
some of the same
5 minutes till his race starts.
Yeah.
This is the same guy that said Zach Wilson's gonna win.
Yeah,
rookie of the
that's
year.
true. Yeah.
I got
so just
85.
jinxed.
I got 35
Oh,
minutes.
I thought you started at 8. Okay.
8:30. All right, we good.
8:30. All right, never mind.
But yeah, guys, that was a good podcast. I gotta get ready to go to work here in a little bit. But Andrew, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. And Matt and Peyton, like always, it was a good time.
Yep.
An honor,
Yep.
man.
Be
Can't wait till
back
next week.
next week.
Absolutely. But that's going to do it here for season 3, episode 1 here, the NEXXTCAR podcast. That's right. We're finally on to our 3rd season here in NEXXTCAR all the way around. Well, the Cup of Trucks and Short series got everything kicked off this weekend. Well, Xfinity cars get to hit the high banks of Daytona tomorrow night, so it's going to be a good race. You're going to want to be tuned in, and we will catch you guys next week when we do the podcast all over again. Enjoy